Here comes the fall foliage. Oh, and a side of football for the win. This is Sports Curious, presented by Last Night's Game. I'm your host, Amy Butchon-Siegfried. Thank you for joining us today. We are happy to be here. Happy November. We are on our way right into the holiday season. This week's podcast has a little something for everyone because the scenery, the tailgate, the atmosphere, all those things are such a great part of what happens at a sporting event. And sometimes I would prefer to sit out in the parking lot and do a tailgate than go into the game because that's what it's all about. It's about the camaraderie. And that's why sports is such a popular topic of conversation, because it's something everyone can relate to. There's always a piece of it that we can chat about. And that is why we have the 5 most scenic college stadiums to catch a fall football game at. Let's just say this list is picture perfect. So with that, let's get started. If you've never had a chance to attend a military academy sporting event, it is certainly something to see. Now imagine watching all that pageantry at Michie Stadium on the campus of West Point in New York. The campus is nestled along a river amongst the trees, and the setting is postcard perfect. Now we're including photos of all of these in our write-up on lastnightsgame.com. Go ahead and click on that podcast header that will give you the transcript to the podcast, as well as any links we talk about, but also photos, because yes, that's what we do. It's easy to get confused when we talk about Beaver Stadium that we're not talking about the home of the Oregon State Beavers, but the home of the Penn State Nittany Lions. The second largest stadium in college football holds 100,000 plus fans who take in the surrounding of the fall colors. A whiteout is typically something reserved for the winter, but when it comes to all 100,000 fans wearing white at a Penn State game, it is said to be the best atmosphere in college football and becomes quite a tough place for competitors to play. While they may not have all the fall colors that the Northeast has, there's nothing like catching a game at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. You won't miss the changing leaves or the cold weather that goes along with it when you're watching the sunset over the mountains that surround the stadium. The UCLA Bruins have home field advantage on sunset views. I can tell you I went to a playoff game between Oklahoma and Georgia at the Rose Bowl, and it is spectacular. I remember sitting there with the sun setting around the mountains. There was a stealth bomber flyover. I highly recommend the hot dogs and the hot dog carts, which kind of seems shady, but they're still good, in the parking lot after the game. Yes, I did recommend that. Please don't sue me if you get some sort of stomach something or other, but it's a great time. Such a fun stadium to go to. Next on our list is Husky Stadium in Seattle, home of the University of Washington Huskies. It's known for its tailgate tradition of boat gaining on Lake Washington outside of the east end zone. But the stadium's other top attribute is the views of downtown Seattle, Mount Rainier, and the Cascade Mountains to the east and the Olympic Mountain Range to the west. The landscape is a welcome respite from the tension associated with the football game. Lavelle Edwards Stadium at BYU in Provo, Utah may have just started serving caffeinated soda in 2017, but the views have been around since the beginning. But while you're at the stadium, make sure to check out the ice cream that is made on campus while you're perusing the concourse for snacks at a game. Just so you know, the school's honor code states that students, administration, and staff will, quote-unquote, abstain from alcoholic beverages, tobacco, tea, coffee, and substance abuse. Now I'm throwing in an extra one on here, an honorable mention that goes to Sun Devil Stadium, which is Arizona State University. It gets the honorable mention category because I am an alum of this school, so I didn't want to put them in the top 5 list because I felt like that was a bit biased. But it is an amazing spot to watch fall football. Make sure you don't go there in the summer, too hot, but a nice November, December game, fantastic, where you're freezing your buns off at the other places. You can go to a game at Sun Devil Stadium and enjoy a beautiful night. The stadium is nuzzled up against a mountain. The desert sky provides a perfect background to fall football. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's podcast. We hope you'll head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. We are rolling into holiday season, so any conversation starter, especially around the world of sports, is always a great one to get you going through a work cocktail party. Trust me, I've been thinking about them and I'm dreading them as well. As much as I love small talk and I love talking to people, sometimes it gets a little old. So keep up with us to find great little conversation starters and great nuggets to talk about. Besides the weather, sports is a great way to level the playing field. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Last Night's Game, where we have daily conversation starters. We have everything you need, that one little nugget like we talked about, to get your day started off on the right foot. Make sure you head on there, Last Night's Game. Follow us on Instagram and on all social media platforms for the greatest news of the day. Make sure you keep up with us at lastnightsgame.com. We will be rolling out some new merchandise in our shop just in time for the holiday season. Make sure you hit that shop header and use the promo code SportsCurious to get something for everyone on your list. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you here next week. Stay safe, friends. Wash your hands.